We are simply Tsfat. We are from Tsfat. We're very honored to be here. Our first time here in Akron. Very nice of the Rabbi to invite us to play with the Rebbe. Special occasion, the outside of the Rebbe. I had the privilege to meet the Rebbe and be by him a couple of times. Big schools, a big privilege. And in Tsfat there is if you've ever been there in the summer, a beautiful klezmer festival, annual festival, when the bombs aren't falling. So this is a beautiful klezmer melody for you. This is front and center. Well equipped. You get one? Big instrument. Hello? Okay. One, two.
People ask me, how did I come to Akron? I always tell them, by plane. But the truth of the matter is that tonight's honor goes to one person, the one person that is the reason why we are here in Akron. This is the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson of blessed memory, who inspired us with his teachings to be and do what we are doing here. The Rebbe made a theme out of the name of the Parsha that we just read yesterday. The Parsha we just read was named Shlach. Shlach means to send messengers. And the Rebbe taught that a Jew is a messenger of God. Every Jew is. And our mission in life is to help another person, not to sit home, and help them physically and help them spiritually to connect to God. I had the privilege to study in New York and be next to this great giant. And more than anything, I learned from the Rebbe's personal example how the Rebbe showed this tremendous vision and selfless dedication to the Jewish people. He taught us really what it means to love another person. There are many people or many organizations that promote and preach tolerance of the one who is different. There are even those who go further and say we're supposed to accept the other person, although he's different. But for the Rebbe, it wasn't enough. You're supposed to love the other person, not just accept them. And you're supposed to care. Shortly after Kayla and I got married, we wanted to be a part of those messengers who go out in the world and help in this type of work of making everyone realize that we have a mission in this world.
Years ago, my parents moved to Akron at the behest of the Rebbe to bring inspiration to this community, to connect each Jew in the area with joy and the vibrancy of Judaism and the Torah. And I think there's no question that the landscape of our Akron Jewish community has been profoundly impacted thanks to the love and the unity that my parents imbued. As you heard from my father when he shared in the video we showed, he credited all of his work here in Akron to the Rebbe. And so I think it's very fitting that we're also dedicating tonight as a tribute to my father's memory as well. Everything that my parents did was a direct result of the inspiration they had and they received from the Rebbe and from his teachings. With the cornerstone of all that was the unconditional love that we have to have for each other. You know, there was a fellow who once came to the Rebbe. He didn't know the Rebbe, but someone had invited him to come, and he comes in and he asks the Rebbe, he wanted to understand, what is the Rebbe? What's the big fuss? There's so many leaders, there's so many scholars, so many great rabbis. What was so unique about the Rebbe that people were making such a big fuss about? The Rebbe hears this question and gives him a big smile and says, a Rebbe is a friend. Friend? And the Rebbe explained. What type of friend? A friend who loves you unconditionally. A friend with whom you can share about anything and everything, the good and the bad. A friend whose love will never change no matter what happens to you. How many friends like that do you know? In 1950, after the passing of his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe, even before the Rebbe assumed leadership of Chabad himself, the Chabad movement, he already took upon himself to show his care and to have an impact on Jews in even their most remote places. Right after the Shiva, right after the passing of his father-in-law, as soon as the Shiva week was over, he sends a letter to one of the Chabad Hasidim living in France at the time, and he says, I want you to go to Morocco. The Rebbe is sitting in New York here, and he's sending some Chassid in France all the way to Morocco. Why do you want to go to Morocco? He tells them, I want you to establish schooling for Jewish children there. At the time, there wasn't very good structured Jewish education for children, boys and girls in Morocco. And so, him together with other emissaries of the Rebbe started establishing schools, first in large cities, Fez, Marrakesh, and then they discovered little villages, where there was thousands of Jews scattered throughout little villages, and the situation was a lot worse than in the big cities. In the big cities, there was at least an organized sense of community, some form of Jewish institutions, but in the little villages, there was a lot of neglect, a lot of poverty also, children roaming around without shoes, without good clothing to wear, and of course you can imagine no proper education at all to think of. And so they started organizing schools in the villages. In one village they took 40 kids, they found the person who knew the most in the town, and they said, you go and you're going to start teaching these children. They started whatever they had, whatever resources they could, they'd start pulling together. They brought them food, books, and they established schools, one after another. Dozens of little villages in Morocco. A lot of these activities were funded by the Joint Distribution Committee, the largest Jewish humanitarian organization. But the Joint had a disagreement with the Rebbe. They felt that Chabad should focus only on the big cities. That's where it made sense to put your focus on. That's where more people were there. It was easier to build something more structured over there. They felt that you're going to spread yourself too thin if you go to all these little villages. You're not going to be able to do much. But the Rebbe argued back and said that under no circumstance could you say that a single Jewish child should be overlooked. Even a child that lives in the remote little town in the Sahara Desert, he needs to be taken care of. And that was what the Rebbe was. Like Moses who runs after that little sheep, that runs away from the flock to come to care for that little sheep that ran away. To the Rebbe, each Jew in the world deserved complete care and devotion. And in the end, the Joint did agree to fund the Rebbe's activities. In this regard, the Rebbe was a unique leader. He wasn't just a Rebbe of Hasidim, and he wasn't even limited to anyone who came in front of him. The tens of thousands who came and wrote him letters, people from all walks of life, Jewish, non-Jewish, Hasidic, non-Hasidic, Litvak, traditional, secular. It didn't make a difference. He didn't make any difference with anyone he met. He looked straight to the source, and the source of each person is that divine, beautiful soul that we all have, the neshama. He cared for the young boy in the Sahara Desert, and he had a love and care for our Akron Jewish community when he sent my parents here. So the Rebbe is as much my Rebbe as he is all of yours. And Musi and I have the privilege also to continue that same inspiration alongside my amazing mother, of course. Tonight, our tribute is through song, or as the Hebrew term is, nigun, or nigun. Some of the songs that we're going to sing, the Rebbe himself taught. The first Chabad Rebbe, the Shner Zalman of Liadi, known as the Alter Rebbe, he shared that a nigun, a song, is like the pen of the soul, the neshama. A nigun doesn't just sing, it speaks. And it doesn't even have to have words to speak. Some nigunim don't have words, it's just a melody. Because it speaks straight to the soul. And Chassidim always like to say, instead of saying, let's sing a nigun, they say, let's zog a nigun, let's speak a nigun. Because songs are so deep that they connect to the soul of the person. And the Rebbe would always use songs throughout his whole life. Use song and nigunim to inspire people. At each gathering, at each farbrengen, at each prayer service, you always would find lots of songs. Some were slow, riveting, touching. Others fast, full of joy, powerful, energetic, making you want to dance. And if you knew my father, who was an avid follower of the Rebbe, he also very much enjoyed song and music. And he also recognized the power in that as well. Today, we're going to hear, as we've been hearing already, from the Simply Tsfat band. And I want to thank them, give them a round of applause for coming all the way from Israel. They give them a tour here, as they do many, many times. I think every year we go, you come around the United States and do. Huh? Yeah, that's right. And of course, I'm not going to forget about my brother Levi, who came all the way from New York to help sing for us tonight as well. So thank you, Levi, for flying in. Now, you may or may not know some of these songs, but that's part of the beauty. You learn something new, especially some powerful Hasidic nigunim. And if you know the songs, some are more familiar, I encourage you to sing or hum along and get in the mood and let each nigun talk to you, talk to your soul. The song we sang before, the first song that they presented after the video, was Sama L'Chanafshi, talking about the neshama, the soul, which thirsts for God. You know how you watch a flame of fire? You know we light a candle when someone passes away, we light a candle, a yard set candle. What's a candle? A candle has a flame on top. The flame is always flickering up. The flame that represents the soul, which is always trying to connect upwards to God, always trying to connect to its source. That's Sama L'Chanafshi, the song they sang before, about our desire to connect to God, the inner desire we each have to connect. Our next song is a song which we sing here on Shabbos, but this was going to be with a different tune. Anim Zmirot. Beautiful hymn, a beautiful song, and it expresses the longing of the Jewish soul also, similar to Sama L'Cha, to our Creator. And this melody was actually taught by the Rebbe himself. For several years, the Rebbe would teach a song at the end of the Simchas Torah. Simchas Torah, as you know here, Simchas Torah is always a grand program, a grand celebration. And the reason why it became such a grand celebration was because by the Rebbe it was a grand celebration. And so my father wanted that Simchas Torah in Akron should be the same, should feel that same energy. And by the Rebbe, at the end of this whole night of song, he would teach a new song. And early in the wee hours of the morning, teach a new song. And so that took place in the 60s maybe. He didn't do it throughout all of his years, but for several years. In 1961, he taught this song, and the words mean, at least the first stanza is, I shall compose and sing the pleasant songs. Before you, my soul longs. My soul desires to be in your hand's shade, to know all of your deepest mysteries. For our soul longs to understand God. Anim Zmirot. we continue the next part of the songs, I'm going to show a video. This video, I'm trying to narrate it a little bit. It's several clips of my parents, some of my family, going in front of the Rebbe. The Rebbe had a custom of trying to connect personally with each person. And during the early years of his leadership, he had the ability to have private audiences with people. But in the later years, where it was very difficult, there was so many people, as Chabad was growing and the inspiration and the impact the Rebbe had was so big, there was people from all over the world looking to connect with him. And it was impossible to be able to meet everyone. And so what he did was, they created a program called Dollars. And Dollars was a program where the Rebbe would, every Sunday, stand for many hours. People pass by. He would give them $1 that they can give to charity. That way their interaction was already a mitzvah, just the interaction. And that way people could have a pass by, get that blessing. In my house, we have many dollars from the Rebbe saved. People want to save that as a special memento from the blessing that they got from the Rebbe. And if you had a specific question, sometimes people would try to throw in a letter. They would try to make sure to keep the line moving, but sometimes you had an opportunity. There was other things in addition to the dollar programs. The Rebbe would, before high holidays, give out sometimes honey cake to people. Also would give out after the holiday gifts from his cup of wine after he made Havdalah, the cup of blessing. It's called Kosel Bracha. And so several times in opportunities like that. So here we have a few clips. This includes my parents, some of my uncles and aunts, my brother Shmuley, who was merited also to see the Rebbe as a baby, and as well, 2 people from our community also had an opportunity to go with my parents to see the Rebbe. The first one was David Sokol, of blessed memory, and also Dr. David Walsh of Canton, who also had an opportunity to go with my father to see the Rebbe.
They have especially we are starting a new year, so we are sweet here, a sweet news.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Wat zeg ik hem? Wat zeg ik hem? Amen.
The Rebbe sometimes, as you see, would just interject a random comment to people. Sometimes he didn't necessarily know you specifically, but he had, of course, some special intuition to connect each person what they needed to hear and what they needed especially. I would like to call up Rabbi Shlomo Elkan, who is the Chabad rabbi of Oberlin College. He's going to share with us some of his personal reflections about the Rebbe, a dear friend and a colleague. Please, Rabbi Elkan.
Thank you very much, Moshe, for inviting me, and being here tonight is really beautiful, and the whole community is really special. It's a little bit bittersweet watching these videos, to be perfectly honest with you, on many levels, and for all of us. For me, one of the reasons why it's a little bit bittersweet is I don't have these videos. It's never there. It's never by the day. I never met the Rebbe, and for the first number of years of my life, I never knew who the Rebbe was. The Rebbe existed. And I lived just, 25 miles away in a suburb of New York called Westchester. Right? That's where I was born and lived the first 7 years of my life. And later on, through many journeys, found my journey deeper into my own religious observance and connection to Chabad and the Rebbe as well. And there was one particular rabbi that I learned with, and spent a lot of time with. And one day I was sitting at his home after we were learning, it was Shabbos, I don't remember. And I said to him, Solomon, I'm so jealous of you. Maybe he was telling a story when he was a little kid by the Rebbe. And certainly his home was peppered with pictures like this, getting dollars. He said, I'm so jealous of you. It was never by the Rebbe. And he looked at me and he said, what, are you crazy? He said, I'm so jealous of you. You had an opportunity to come to the Rebbe already with a developed mind and intellectually and spiritually connect and be aware of it. So when the Rebbe was, I said, you were by Fabrengens. He said, where was I by Fabrengens? I was under the bleachers playing Kugelach, playing jacks, or outside picking a fight with another little kid. He said, I'm so jealous of you. So then I looked at him and I said, would you trade? And he said, not a chance. The reality is, for all of us, not a chance. There are those that have met the Rebbe, and those that have not. And those that have met the Rebbe, were learned by the Rebbe, were taught by the Rebbe, were nourished by the Rebbe, were blessed by the Rebbe, they should cherish those moments. And those of us who didn't meet the Rebbe physically, we also have an opportunity to develop a deep, intimate relationship with the Rebbe. Not only through the videos, but more importantly through the Rebbe's teachings. And who the Rebbe is and what the Rebbe represents to all of us, to world Jewry, and to the world at large. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, I believe, is a thread that runs through every moment of every day of my life. From when I wake up in the morning, being able to serve, like Rabbi Moshe also said, serve as the Rebbe's emissary along with my wife and children, that we get to be the Rebbe's right hand in Oberlin, Ohio, and the surrounds. I wake up every single morning grateful for that opportunity and feel the specialness and that responsibility on my shoulders. How we interact with every student, we deal primarily with college students at Oberlin. I'm sure some of you have read about us in the news every so often, all too often. But how we interact with every student, and especially our closer students, our student board, right? Every campus group has a leadership team. And there's something not only about the board, but about all of our students that I really try to inculcate them with, because this is what the Rebbe inculcated into all of us, is every single person is a shliach. So with our student group, with our board, with our students, we sit and we talk. And I say to them, half jokingly, I say, this is your Chabad house too, in the same way. I happen to live upstairs, but it's just as much yours as it is ours. Which means, yeah, you get to go in the fridge and help yourself to a drink without thinking about it. But it also means you have all the responsibilities that the Rebbe put on all of us to bring Judaism to every corner, to every Jew in every corner of the world, to inspire, to uplift, and to help. For myself, I felt it directly through interactions with the Rebbe Shluchim. Sitting in Torah classes, schlepping sukkahs and pickup trucks. When I lived in Atlanta, I was the local kid with a pickup truck, so I became the rabbi's best friend. And every rabbi needs a local kid with a pickup truck. And being around and watching the shluchim and the shluchos, how they interact, how they live their lives, how they talk to each other, how they talk to their children, how they talk to the students and whomever else they interact with, how they go to the end of the earth to help somebody do a mitzvah, visit solitary confinement in a prison, or even, quite literally on our drive, we have an hour drive here, some Israeli guy calls in a frantic panic. His nephew's stuck at the Columbus airport and he can't pay for his baggage to get back on the plane. Can we find a way to help? I handed the phone to my wife and she made it happen. And that's what the Rebbe's, number one, the Rebbe tells you, hand the phone to your wife. Number two, make it happen. No matter what, make it happen. Everyone in this room is a shliach. For all that the Rebbe stands for, and what is that? What does the Rebbe want of us? To make Judaism accessible and meaningful. For love and care of every single Jew. And for elevating every moment to be spiritual, to be God-filled, and to be a holy moment. There's no such thing as mundane. That's what the Rebbe taught us. That's what the Rebbe wants from us. It's truly my honor to be able to even share a few words to talk about my Rebbe, to talk about our Rebbe on a day like Yom Tammuz. And it all comes full circle as well. When I saw the poster that Moshe posted about this event, I asked if we could come, because almost to the day, 19 years ago, minus 10 days, my wife and I got married in Jerusalem, and simply Tsfat was our wedding band. So, it felt like a very apropos moment to come and to be a part of everything, and to be able to see and hear them play again, and to bring that simcha, and of course, to honor the Rebbe, to remember the Rebbe, and to carry the Rebbe with us in everything that we do. Thank you all. I will say though, all of our beards and bellies look a little bit different though.
Big thank you to Rabbi Elkan and his wife Devorah, who came all the way from Oberlin to join us for tonight's program. Thank you so much. Okay, back to our songs. Our next song feature, Hoshia et Amecha. This is a prayer that expresses the hope that God Almighty should sustain and bless His people and elevate us forever, ad olam. We sing it daily in our prayers on the holidays, and it's especially sang on Sukkot holiday. And the words are, deliver your people and bless your heritage, tend them and exalt them forever. A verse from the Psalms, Hoshia et Amecha. now I'm going to slow it down a bit to another beautiful song. Some call it a small cup of wine. It has some words sometimes used. We're going to sing just the melody. The melody. Beautiful, soulful, nigga. Back up again. This is another beautiful song, Hu Elokeinu. We sing it every Shabbat in the Shabbat prayers, and the holiday prayers as well. We sing, it talks about our faith and our belief in God. Just as He redeemed us in Egypt, we are certain that God will redeem us and take us out of exile, out of the current exile, a world that still has pain, still has suffering, and be rebuilding us the temple in Jerusalem with Mashiach. A world of peace and blessing. This is a very special nigun, a song which isn't usually sung in many, just on a regular day. It's called Dalid Bahot. This is a song of 4 stanzas, representing 4 levels of the different worlds, 4 spiritual worlds that connect us in a very deep way. It was a song composed by the first Chabad Rebbe, and a song which is sung at traditionally at Chabad chuppahs, by weddings. A beautiful song, a special one, a stirring niggin, one very appropriate for today's tribute. end, we'll have a special video presentation as we conclude our program. This next song, the one we sing on Rosh Chodesh. We sing it also on holidays. We sing it as part of the Hallel praises. Keliata. It's a heartfelt declaration of our thankfulness, our spiritual satisfaction, and our belief in the future redemption. It's one of the 10 melodies composed by the first of our Rebbe. Keliata ve'odeka, Elokai Rameka. You are my God, I will give thanks to you. You are my God, and I will exalt you, from the Psalms. I'm going to share now our final video presentation, a special video about the Rebbe.
I grew up in the golden age of Lubavitch. So from a very young age, there were so many opportunities to see the Rebbe, to interface with the Rebbe. The Rebbe was there to lift us up, to give us perspective, solace when necessary, encouragement, to share the joys. A world with the Rebbe in it was a world that had an anchor.
I was a reporter at the New York Times from 1975 to 1993. And in those years, I had many opportunities to write about the growth of the Lubavitch movement and to write about Rabbi Schneerson in particular. I think most celebrities are people that you may admire, but you don't get a sense that they care that much about you. The Rebbe was different. He really cared about every person.
הרב שלו, בפעם הראשונה, זו הצלחה רבה, בשיבתיות שלו בציורים שלו, המלאכה רבה. הצלחה רבה בכל הציורים החדשים. I have not seen you a long time, all since I arrived.
Could be a little bit better.
Then it will be a lot better.
Amen.
ונתתי לכל האפשריות להפיץ היהדות האמיתית ומתוך שמחה וטוב לבו.
כן, אני יודעת.
כאילו גם כן בשורות טובות בענייניך הפרטיים.
אוי, תודה. תודה.
והעבודה שלי היא גם כן הסתרבות בעניינים הפרטיים של כל הפנים אליי.
זה יותר חשוב לי ממה שאמרת עד עכשיו.
He wanted you to be a better person. He wanted you to be a better Jew. He wanted you to practice the rituals and the commandments of Judaism. Those things would make you a better person and make the world better.
I am a writer, primarily on Jewish themes, and I've recently completed a 5-year project on the Rebbe. The Rebbe had a greater capacity than anyone I've ever come across to appreciate that a human being is created in the divine image. He saw that spark of divinity in every Jew, that every Jew therefore was connected, even if that person felt distant now.
You are not changing anything, you are only returning to your real essence and doing so on your own volition, and then it will come to you automatically to progress in all things of Yiddishkeit.
The Rebbe was still seeing that divine spark within them. He saw not only who they were now, he saw also what they could become and how precious they were.
Ich habe gekommen zu finden, ein bisschen Jüdischkeit, ein bisschen mein Jüdischkeit.
Ich wollte
Und ich will helfen.
Ich war versucht, was ich im Herzen zu gefühlen, als sagt, mehr ist ich nicht mehr da. Ich darf verrissen, von der Herz. Wir werden aktiv und noch viel mit euch Ganzen. Ein jüdisches Herz.
When one walked into the Rebbe's study, you saw nothing but the Rebbe. It was not an ostentatious office. It's not like going into the president or governor's offices or even deans of law schools. The Rebbe's office was not that at all. It was him. He can't enforce anything he wants. All he can do is advise and suggest. And that distinguishes him from every other leader I've met. They have the power of the purse, they have the power of the sword, they have the power of the media, they have the power of law. Rebbe has no power, only the authority that he himself brings through his personality and his leadership.
What happened to the book?
Well, I'm doing some things in that direction, which I'll inform you as it goes along.
It takes you too long here.
You're right.
You have much more things to do after you finish that.
Okay.
This was a wonderful year, Baruch Hashem, but this was our greatest accomplishment of 1988. To be elected a senator was nice, but this was the best.
But don't be satisfied. It's only with you.
Okay, we both heard.
Depends more on you, probably.
Hebt sich an herumgucken, wird man erschrocken, was tut sich das in der Welt. Und was mit der und mit Schone, is achsher dore bit mir. Am geht sich a gucken, nieder chele Katevis Geber und nieder Seder wird als starker und nicht gedusche Veruchni ist. Is Meschel beschälet nor lechere leheper. A das is a Linie von a Jahr, was dort gewaltigen Chayis reus.
The Rebbe's mission was to call the world's bluff and reach right in and invert its reality and expose the core, expose the goodness. And he did that on every level, to the world entire, to each person he touched.
Man soll wissen sein, dass man gefühlt sich in einer teuren Welt. Das ist eine Welt, wo sie ist ein Gang. Und nicht stamm a Sode, eise Tvur, nur das ist ein Gang von eise Peres. Das ist eine Samen-Welt, wo der Rebester sagt, dass das ein Paradies, wo das ein Paradies lebt.
Just imagine that you are an eagle and you were raised as a duck. So you think that you are a duck and you live like a duck. And sometimes raises you, and you find out that's an eagle. Then you spread your wings and go. You soar up to heaven. You're now above all these things. So that is what called the touch the Rebbe had. And it was a spark, went there and ignited them. And the person is not only didn't return to what he was, it changed completely from one place to another.
Beschaß mich verbindet sich mit der Sache, wo sie gefühlt sich eben, mit der Sache, wo sie lemeile min azman und min amoke, ist afal pi, was gefühlt sich in Zman und in Moke, gibt ihm der Eberste die Möglichkeit, als ich ihn sehe, wird durchführen dem Ebersten Schlichus. Beschaß mich verbunden eben, oder dämmelt fällt mir nicht unten.
The influence of the Jewish people is a big task. But nevertheless, every Jew has the power to do so because he is going with the help of the blessing of God Almighty himself.
Well, I promise I'll do my best.
Yeah, God Almighty will help you.
Lubavitcher Jews around the world today began 7 days of mourning for their beloved leader, Rabbi Schneerson.
Rabbi Schneerson was a great leader of the Lubavitcher people. He was a great religious leader of the Jewish people. He was also a great religious leader of all people all throughout the world.
I was aware that he was not well, but his death, of course, was devastating to everybody in the world. Who could ever succeed this Rebbe? I mean, he was such a giant.
The Rebbe rewrote the book on what it meant to be a Hasidic leader. The Rebbe sort of broke down that wall and said, I have something to give and to contribute and to teach to all Jews. He was one of a kind, so with him gone, how could the movement survive?
The Rebbe's passing was a loss on a personal level, but beyond that, it seemed to be the eclipse of a light the world needed so badly. That was the true loss. But as it turned out, that was never lost. It lives on in the Rebbe's teaching, in the Rebbe's direction, that fuel our work today.
When you are stranded in the wilderness, you really don't know anything. So you have a light, and the light guides you, and then somehow the light is extinguished in the middle of the night in some moment. How do you feel that? And you have, on the other hand, you don't have any permission to stop. See, and the Rebbe gave an order, marching orders, and so you have to go on marching.
For the Rebbe, there was nothing more precious than every single human being, and there was nothing more precious than every single mitzvah. The marching orders were, bring these two preciousnesses together.
כשהסעיד tut a mitzvah in der Welt, tut a schliches Abdei the Mebischen Kwajoch. Wir darf mazmisch sein, den Potter als a Prumerid, if jeder mitzvah, was tut, ist auf seiner Matone, was gibt dem Mebischen.
One of the ways in which this book itself profoundly influenced me was the Rebbe's insistence on the importance of every mitzvah, which brings me now, when I do a mitzvah, to have a much greater increased sense of its power to affect me.
את מדליקה בשבת. אז את תראה שכל החברות שלו יעשו גם כן. Every of us is putting tefillin, you eat and you are true to you. Someone else, he must begin putting tefillin. That alone is a very worthwhile endeavor. For adding a Jew to put tefillin. You're welcome.
You know, the greatest immortality somebody can ever have is to leave a legacy and to see one's work continue after one sheds the mortal coil. And the Rebbe did a phenomenal job in preparing his movement, the Jewish world, and the entire world.
To think that he had built this movement from the time he became Rebbe in the 1950 or 1951, and it had this phenomenal growth, that growth would have continued sort of exponentially after his passing is kind of hard to imagine, hard to believe. It just shows that, the power of the message that he had, and that he has been able to, in some ways, transcend life.
The Rebbe saw each person as a stakeholder in this awesome project. We have the responsibility and the privilege of moving it forward. By adding one new mitzvah, everyone can become a stakeholder in the Rebbe's project as it continues to move forward and to grow.
Und als meisef ein Meise, ein Dibur, ein Achlot, lezad Atev, is neise, was peilt auf sich, peilt rechet al Bnei Beisir, und peilt, wie der Rambam schreibt, als Psag Din, al kol ha'elam kuli umachrie, lekav schus, bringt uns die Gejule bepeil, mamash, nitech simcha, vetuv levo.
Our final niggin. Sheibana Beit HaMikdash, blessing for the rebuilding of the temple.
Sheibana Beit HaMikdash, v'meidam v'yameinu, zem chalkeinu v'zerasecha. Sheibana Beit HaMikdash, v'meidam v'yameinu, zem chalkeinu. בעזרת השם זה בספיד יעשה אמן.
As we heard from the video, the Rebbe's marching orders. The Rebbe wanted each person to be a better version of themselves. He wanted each person to be a leader in their personal life, a leader in the life around them in the world. You know, the Talmud tells us that Jacob, our holy forefather, he never passed on. And the Talmud goes on to say they buried him, they took care of his body. How did he even pass away? They say he didn't die. And the Talmud concludes, because his progeny lives, because his children and his students live on, he lives on through them. You know, for the Rebbe, his entire life was dedicated to bringing godliness into the world through his love for all, through his acts of goodness and kindness. And his entire being was all about bringing that fusion between the material and the spiritual. And so, although he passed 30 years ago, his presence and his impact in the world has continued to grow stronger, I would say, each year. Tonight is the 3rd of Tammuz, Gimel Tammuz, as we mark the 30th yahrzeit of the Rebbe. And over the last 30 years, his messaging and his impact has grown by leaps and bounds. And I think I would venture to say that the Rebbe seems more alive in a way, in a unique way, each year. So as we conclude tonight's program, a most fitting way to honor the Rebbe would be to think of a way to add more goodness into your life, more godliness into your life, more Torah into your life, more mitzvahs into your life. And most importantly, the underpin is the unconditional love that we need to have for each other. Wednesday, I'll be flying to New York with 2 of my kids in honor of the Rebbe's yahrzeit to pray by the Rebbe's Ohel, the resting place of the Rebbe. They're expecting over 50,000 people there. And each day, hundreds of people come from all walks of life to ask the Rebbe for his blessing on high, to ask that he advocate from God on our behalf. So if anyone here would like to request a blessing, we have, when you go outside before the entrance, there is a table there, the entry table that has papers and pens. You can write a letter of blessing that you want for yourself, for your family, and it's customary to sign off with your name, if you know your Jewish name, and your mother's name, the son of your mother's name, your mother's Jewish name. We're going to conclude now. We have a dessert buffet, and also our band will continue playing 2 more songs. If you have any requests, you're welcome to. Yes, we're going to have a minion tonight, and just a little bit after this, and also tomorrow morning in honor also of the Rebbe. We're going to have a minion in the morning as well, 7:30. If you're able to make it, let us know. I want to give a thank you to my wife Musi for helping create this program today. My mother, Kayla, for of course everything she's done for tonight's program. Our band, a wonderful band from Israel. It's the Tsfat band. From New York. Our main man Paul, who helped set up everything as well. Thank you all for coming, and we'll hear a few more songs from our lovely band. Welcome to the dessert buffet in entry.
I'm
On the roof?
See you in Israel.